Just said your skin looks good.
Yeah, you said that after I had to say like, wagwan. So
is it too late to give compliments?
You can give compliments.
So then accept it and shut the up. All right, let's do this.
Oh my days. So we are back. Well, sort of. So you guys know back in 2019, Nana and I, we had the For Heaven's Sake podcast. We were on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and we had a lot of fun, a lot of good guests, a lot of good conversations. The good news is that the podcast is coming back. We're going to be on all of the same platforms as before, plus as well as on right here on the Rev Entertainment YouTube channel. So ahead of our return, Nana and I thought it would be an idea to, I guess, reintroduce ourselves to you guys. It seems to be the thing that people on YouTube do, the couples tag. So why not? You might as well play along a little bit. And I noticed that GQ are doing this couples quiz as well, and they ain't reached out to us. I don't really know what that's about, but whatever in it. So we thought we would do our own version of that, and we decided that we would invite our very good friend, Melvin Odoom, along to come and answer questions. And it's only right because Melvin has been there from the beginning of our relationship, which is now nearly 21 years this year. So yeah, so Melvin, what's happening?
I'm quite excited about this because it'll be interesting to know how you remember the chain of events. So I'm quite excited. I've got a list of questions here. So first up, let's start from the beginning. How would you describe how you first met and what attracted you to one another? Starting with Nana, ladies first.
Okay. Right, how we first met. We met through Natalie knowing you, and then we got to meet your whole household. And then we became friends, kinda. And then one day Russell told me that he liked me.
But wait. You've jumped a lot there. Why did Russell stand out? Because we live with like about 4 other guys, myself and Russell. So why did Russell stand out amongst all the other guys? Because if you would say, I'm friends with you, but I didn't end up dating you.
But you're short and he's tall. So from your household, he stood out as a possible pairing for me because he was tall. He was the tallest in your house.
What, so it's based on height?
That's all I had going for me.
Basically at that stage, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, carry
on. Yeah, so then he told me that he liked me, and then I forgot. And then one day, me and Natalie were in the kitchen washing up, and then I remembered, and I was like, oh, the other day, Russell said that he liked me. And she was like, why don't you just see how it goes? Like, there's nobody else around. And I was like, yeah, okay. And
so
then,
Nana, could you paint a picture for us? So where were you when he first told you that he liked you? Were you in your halls of residence? Was it actually like university? Where were you at the time? Can you remember?
No, I think we was in your house and we had just watched, was it Romeo Must Die?
Romeo Must Die.
Yeah, we had just watched Romeo Must Die at you guys' house, and we were going into our cab. So the cab was waiting outside. The girls had already like gone, and I was the last one to leave your house. Okay. And then like at the door, that's when Russell said, like, I really can't remember his words, but it was similar to "I like you," you know, like that type of thing.
I don't speak like that.
Yeah, it was along those lines.
Okay.
You know how it is in Luton. A lot happens in a week. Like, I think by the time we had got to the car, that may have been the time when Natalie had switched on Ricky. So there was more stuff to talk about. So yeah, it was like that moment had passed by the time I got to the car. So that's what made me forget and then remember. Like,
what's interesting is that you forgot about it and then you went away, then you spoke to your housemate Natalie, who we're all very close with, and then kind of remembered it. Why didn't it have an impact on you when he initially told you that?
It's just the nature of Luton. a lot happened every single day.
Okay.
And so that's the only reason. That was the only, and I wasn't really sure because I always had this thing of Russell's such a nice guy, but he's like somebody that you would like settle down with. And at that point, I'm 19 years old. So even that conversation with Natalie, that was one of the things I said. I was like, but he's such a nice guy. That's the dude that you're with for like 10 years. And
21.
Yeah. And I was right, wasn't I? I was flipping right. Yeah, so because it's like he was that stable guy, I was a bit like, you're a bit young. You know, there's other dudes out there in Luton that you got your eye on. But yeah, and then Natalie kind of was like, you should just go on a date with him. And then I did.
Okay.
As Natalie said at our wedding when she done her speech, she's the reason.
She is, in a way.
Yeah, because I could have gone to somebody else and they probably would have been like, yeah, you know what, he is, and you're not that girl. So, and then I would have been like, yeah, you're right, and carried on moving.
Okay, thank you for that, Nana. So, Russell, how do you remember those changes?
Basically, that day when we was watching Romeo Must Die, we were sitting on the sofa, and then she put her hand on my knee, and then ran her hand slightly.
He's lying. It's such a lie.
No, Carolyn, I like this story.
Yeah, she ran her hand up my knee and was just kind of playing around the groin area. So obviously, I'm like, that's signals, innit?
Okay.
That's signals. So I was like, let me just put it on her. And what I have never said before though is what I did say to her before she left. Okay, I had a sales patter. And it was like the sales patter that I would give to girls that I was chatting to. So I gave her the sales patter that I'd probably given to at least 3 other girls.
What was the sales patter?
Whatever I said, I can't remember what it was now. It's 21 years ago.
You're going to share it.
No. It was just like, at the time I had like, it was rehearsed lyrics.
That's why I said it was something like, I like you, you know. It was that.
It was more. It
was a formula.
It was a formula, but it was more in depth than I like you, you know. Like so, I had thought about this.
So Russell, when you said that to Nana, did you mean it?
I did mean it. Like, so obviously I'm 19, so my eyes are in a lot of places, but I did genuinely mean it. And it's funny that she said that about he's the type of guy that you need to settle down with, because then I obviously read it completely wrong. Because I was like, boy, you better be careful, you know, because if she comes back and she's like, I like you too, like she's probably gonna be like on it sort of thing. But then also I think why wouldn't you be? But also, I think the type of person, and again, credit to Natalie and Nana, the type of person that I was, is that everybody that I got into a relationship with, not that I'm thinking we're going to settle down and get married, but yeah, there's a level of seriousness about it.
All right, so thanks to Natalie, you started dating. When did you realize it was a serious thing?
It was pretty quick. I would say maybe our second date, which I can't really remember what it was, because it felt like as soon as I got back in touch, like, oh yeah, so we should like see each other. It was almost like we saw each other every single day from then. So it wasn't like a weekly seeing somebody or like you had a measured time. So I guess because we're living in Luton, it felt like then you just live together. It was just very quick. So maybe after a month.
I remember when you was in the house, it always felt really natural when you was around. I kind of think back to like the time when we all lived in a house together, and like obviously other members of the household had girlfriends round, and I think certain members would kind of like stay in their rooms or go out and stay at theirs, but you always felt really comfortable in our environment, and you always felt like one of our mates as well. So it was like a natural integration from our perspective, or mine anyway. How was it for you?
Yeah, the same. Because I guess you guys were my friends before me and Russell got together. So being in your house wasn't strange because you're my friends. And then you were all really welcoming anyway. So like it just felt natural to just hang out in your living room and watch the shenanigans that you guys would get up to. and yeah, listen to your music when you was in your room. Like, it was fun.
Nana, we knew you had options. We would joke about it a lot. What made you go, right, I'm going to stick with this guy and not explore any of your options?
Maybe she did explore some of the options.
I didn't.
You went quiet for a long time there, Nana.
I was thinking, what was the hook? I really think it's just Russell's temperament and personality. Like, he was funny. Like, all of my friends liked him. It was just like a very seamless merger, and yeah, we just had a lot of fun.
Russ, and when was it serious for you?
So like I said before, I always entered the relationship with like a level of like, can this woman be the one? So there was a level of seriousness from the beginning. Randomly, I'm just remembering a time now. I never really thought about it before, but there was, so in the same way that Nana used to come and stay at ours, I would sometimes go and stay over at theirs. And there was one evening where I can't even remember what had happened, but we were all, I think, in Natalie's room. Something transpired. And I think, this can sound really bad, you threw something at me. It wasn't like a hard object like thing, but it was like, nah, you're taking the piss. And I just got up and left. And she came after me and was like, I'm really, really sorry. And it was just kind of in that, I think I still left, but it was in that I was like, I could see the genuine, like, oh no, I was out of line. And so then that kind of made me think, okay, cool. We make mistakes. And she seemed genuinely sorry.
Absolutely do not remember.
I knew you were going to say that, man.
Oh God, really? I threw something at you. I mean, it's not something that I wouldn't do. Yeah, I definitely had more of like a shorter temper at things back then.
Okay, so next question, but I don't want you to answer it. I want you to point at each other, all right, at the same time, all right?
Okay.
So who said, I love you first? I'm going to count you down from 3. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
I swear it was you.
Did that. So, no, I want Nana first, please.
All right.
I absolutely cannot remember. So I was so sure that he must have said it first, because I don't remember.
So what was your memory of it, Nana?
I feel like the time you gave me the first Ginyami chain,
Mm-hmm.
I swear that's when you said I love you.
I mean, I remember giving you the chain. I don't remember saying that. I have an earlier memory.
Okay.
So there used to be a club in Luton called Venue 23. 27, something. And we were there for a rave. Like, we were like hugging up, kissing up in the corner. And it was either in the club or that night back at the house. That's when I think you said it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest, because obviously it's a long time ago. So the memory is sketchy, but like genuinely, like that memory sticks in my head. Like, yeah, that was the moment.
Nana, do you remember being in the club at that time?
Yeah.
And
We have pictures from that night. So I remember that night. I don't specifically remember it for that time, but I do remember it was like one of our first times in a club, like we are a couple. Like, and so we was together a lot. And so I do poignantly remember that night being like, oh, we're official type of thing.
So if you guys had to put money on it, who would you say said it first?
I still feel like Russell was way more mushy than I was. But I feel like it was him.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say you.
You.
I'm gonna say you. Yeah.
Okay, who's the most protective person in the relationship?
I don't think either of us are. I don't think I think we're both quite. All right. So when it comes to each other, I don't think either of us are that protective. We're not like, why would you talking to that person or or what have you. I think when it comes to like physical safety, with Nana or the boys, I think it's me.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Nan?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I'll move on then. Who falls asleep first?
That's me.
Oh, that's Russell.
That's me.
I mean,
I can't even argue that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. Who's the most annoying?
Russell.
I agree with that as well.
Everybody would say it's you.
Why?
Because you can just be annoying. Like
How?
I'm genuinely like just the happy-go-lucky partner.
Maybe that's annoying.
Could be.
So I want to go back a little bit. Obviously, when you guys first met, and you kind of explained the story about, obviously, through Natalie, you became friends. But who would you say was interested first, romantically?
Russell.
Yeah,
Yeah?
Yeah, no.
Nana?
Eh?
Why is that, Nana?
Because he would do like subtle chirps, like every so often.
But
so often.
I think that also the type of person that I am and the type of person that Nana was, I think on paper at the time, if you had put us down, like if we had gone into a dating app, you probably wouldn't have matched us. Because I am more romantic and more lovey-dovey and what have you. And Nana was more interested in raving to garage.
It's true.
Basically.
I want to talk about.
But I think physically, you would have put us together. Just our heights, we're both from Ghana. I just think like as a match, people would have been like, oh, you two are probably.
Yeah, I think definitely, especially like with our two groups, like you said,
yeah,
where we were the obvious match. But yeah, I think if we were to both sign up to a dating app back then, if they even existed, I don't think we would have got matched.
No, probably not.
Do you think you would match now if you were both single?
Potentially.
Yeah, but because our personalities have merged.
Okay. And what traits of your personalities are similar now then?
I think I've taken on a lot of Russell's his ability to like help people and just be of service. I think I've seen him, I've seen the benefits of it and taken that on for myself as well.
And for you, Russ?
Nana has taught me self-worth. She's taught me the importance of like being focused and committing to something. It's like if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And also spiritually, I think she's been I would call her like at times my spiritual teacher, where she's helped me learn a lot of things about myself and my character.
That's really nice, guys. I want a soulmate now. I want to talk about the household.
Right.
Who would you say cleans the most?
I think we go through seasons.
Yeah, because sometimes I can do more. Sometimes Russ will do more.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't think you can point one person out.
Yeah,
it depends on the season. Yeah.
Who's got a better eye for where things should be and how things should look? Because I love the house at the moment. Always.
I do.
So you say you love the house at the moment, yeah? Most of this was me.
Oh, for real?
No. I have a better eye. I absolutely do.
Who? Okay, so I pointed out the sofa. Like, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. The garden. Who did
you
most
know
of the
what?
garden?
I'm gonna name things so it's
right.
fair. Okay, so these are the things that I love about your house so far. Sofa, you've said already. I do love that. Flooring, who did that?
You picked the flooring?
Yep.
Okay.
I would say that I did, but maybe.
That was me. That was me.
Who did the boys' room?
Me.
No, that was Joy.
You picked the feature wall color.
Yeah, but it needed to correspond with the other color. Like, it was like a joint.
But I did everything else. The feature wall was joint. I did everything else.
Okay.
Okay, and your workshop, who did that?
Well, I did my half of the workshop. She I don't know what she's doing with her half of the workshop.
No. All right. So when it was first done, like in its first incarnation, from when we got the shed from you, that was my design, and nothing has really changed from that, other than I've made it messy because it's a workshop. You're supposed to work in it.
Yeah, no one says that you have to work in a messy environment. No.
We might agree to disagree on that,
Yeah.
that question. I think I can answer this next one. Who eats the most? Russell?
I think that's offensive.
It's the truth, though.
Just for fun. Who eats the most? Russell?
Yeah, we're bordering on bullying now, but next question.
Okay, next question. Who spends the most money?
We spend on different things. Russ spends on technology, and I spend on food.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
So
yeah,
food, and I can't even say clothes. I just spend on food. I spend silly money on food.
You've been spending on a bit more on clothes recently.
No, I kind of stopped again now because I want to lose more weight.
Then, out of interest, who spends the most? Is it the technology or the food? If you had to calculate them both, what would you spend the most on?
I actually feel like it's food.
Yeah.
So then you're the biggest spender then?
Yeah, probably. Just on things that we shit out, you don't even know where it is.
Oh, lovely.
Who's most likely to start an argument?
Neither of us.
Yeah. I know it's going to sound really dry, but we're not an argument couple. We will talk stuff out, and it may be that we're talking for hours, but we're not an argument couple.
I think our last a big argument was probably like 7 years ago.
I don't even
have we even had a proper big argument. No, we had one really big argument.
That was in the flat.
In the flat. So that's
So that was before the kids. That was
it's like 10 years ago.
Yeah. That's the only one that I remember. I don't remember a big one in this house.
No, we've had like marathon discussions in this house.
Yeah.
But we're never gonna be like, you shut up or to the. It's not.
Yeah, I agree with that. I could probably count on one hand how many times you guys have argued, and even then, I think you guys are very good at resolving things. Because you're so like-minded. You can resolve things and see each other's perspectives eventually. So yeah, I never see you guys as argumentative in any way. So yeah, I agree with that. What would you say is your partner's best and worst trait? Start with Nana, please.
It's my best and worst.
Yeah, you said you start.
I do him.
Yes, please.
Okay. Your best and worst. Your best is your ability to just get on with so many different people that I think what would that be classed as? Your charisma, I guess, is what it would come under. I think that's your best quality. Your worst is procrastination and not finishing things. That's your worst.
Yeah, I can't even argue with that. Your best quality, I've already alluded to. I'm going to say that your best quality can also sometimes be your worst quality, but it could also be argued it's from a selfish perspective. So your best quality is your ability to hone in on something and say, I'm going to do this, and then do it. But then sometimes it feels it comes at the cost of a lot of other things. So you kind of allow, not that I allow her, but because I know she's focused on something, I will try my best not to kind of interfere with that journey. But then sometimes you're like, sometimes I just want to kick it with my homie, but you can see that she's just focused like that. So yes, I would say your best quality can sometimes be your worst quality.
That's interesting. If you could change one thing about your partner, what would it be? Start with Russell and Nana, please.
What would I change?
It's a good one.
What would I change? I think, yeah, so kind of going back off the last thing that I said, and I don't want to sound needy because I don't feel like I'm a needy person, but you know, just like affection. I like affection. Like I can be quite a tactile person, and so I would like more of that.
What would I change? What would I change? That's a hard one.
I need an answer, please. Now.
I think I would change. There's like a determination, but it's not determination. Like sometimes you can be too malleable, like too flexible with people. And sometimes I want you to be, no, I'm doing this, like and follow through for yourself, not kind of like, oh, but how are they going to feel if I just tell them to piss off? That type of thing. It's like, I'd like you to be more steely, determined for yourself. To be more selfish, actually. Yeah.
So in a way, in the same way, my best quality is also kind of like my worst quality.
Yeah.
I've said that to Russell before as well, actually.
Oh, really? See?
He's heard that from me a few times.
So I'm going to start telling people.
You won't though.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to go too far off. That's why I'm like, if there was like a measuring cup, I would just put a little bit more selfishness in there just to kind of balance it out a bit, just so that you don't put yourself at a detriment for other people. And that's me included. Like sometimes you do have to just be like no, or come, let's do this together, and you have to stop what your work is, and I'll probably be like, okay, yeah, you're right. Or I may say no, but then it's fine to battle on that because, you know.
Yeah. I agree with you, Nana. What I say is, look, it's fine to help people, but it should never be to the detriment of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. What's the best thing about you as a couple, Nana?
I think we are like the fun couple to be around. Yeah, I think we're fun and we're dependable as a couple as well. So yeah, I would like friends like us.
Can I answer that question as well?
Yeah, go.
I want to say balanced. I really think you guys are equally balanced as a couple. And in terms of your energy, I love being around you lot, like you two together and with the boys as well. There's something about your energy that is so lovely to be around. And finally, I would say strength, because, you know, in our circle of friends, you and Nano have been together for such a long time. Like prior to your marriage, like you have been together for a long time. And I think people kind of underestimate the power in having a relationship for that length of time, and to still, like when I look at you guys now, it literally feels like when we left university. It doesn't feel like your relationship has changed in terms of the strength that you have together. So yeah, I'd say those three things. What would you say is the worst thing about you as a couple, Russell?
I think sometimes we can be smug marrieds, and we can be like, I think sometimes we can.
In what way?
Just, you know, if somebody's in like a kind of complicated situation, and we've never had that, so it can be a bit like, oh, just leave them, like just move on. And yeah, I can hear us in retrospect sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, that was really smug, because we have each other and other people's lives are more complicated. But I guess when you do have a foundation like ours, you see how the complications don't ever, well, very rarely do they smooth out to where you want it to go when it starts off really rocky. So yeah, sometimes I just think we can come across as a bit smug.
What would you say you've changed about your partner?
What have
You kind of addressed this now.
we have, but outside of that, I would definitely say, like in our early days, Russ was very firmly, like, so business wise was get a job, you work, and you pay your bills. And I was way more like, no, you have your own business, you kind of do what you want, you work hard, and then you become a millionaire. So that was, and in our early times, where obviously when you're starting out as a freelancer, that money is sparse. So you get money in, then you may not have any money. And then Russ would be like, yeah, go and get a job. And I'm really thinking, no, I want to start my business. And yeah, there was just friction that way, where I think as the years have gone on, I've definitely rubbed off on him way more as to having your own business and not working for somebody else.
I can't disagree with that. I think, and it started from early. So, and it was because I would see what she would do and what she was capable of. And the more I would see that, the more I realized you have to allow her to kind of, and I said allow again, it's not like a permission thing, but allow her to do what she's going to do. So one memory that really sticks in my mind is when we were back in the flat and we were doing Ghana 5707. So it was the 50 years of Ghana independence. And we did this massive Ghana independence event in the Porchester Hall in West London. And there was a lot of late nights and early starts because we were both working at the time. I was in IT, Nana was in education. And one night, it's probably around 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And I looked over and we were sorting out stuff for the event. And I looked over and she was just crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? Like, why are you crying? And then she was just like, I just can't go back to work. And then I just kind of stood there and it was very quick. And I was like, don't go then. I was like, don't go. And I remember that because it was so outside of who I had previously been to say it that quickly. Just like, don't go then, because it was just obvious. I was like, don't go. It made sense in terms of having somebody to work on the event full time, and then seeing all the other things she was doing. It was just like, then after that fosterism started.
But at that time, you was like, and then after that, you can just make t-shirts, which is funny that eventually I did do t-shirts, because at the time I was like, I don't want to do t-shirts, but yeah, there you go.
Wow. Okay. What's your favorite memory of your relationship so far?
I think it's our traditional wedding, but then also our wedding for other things though. Our wedding for the amount of time that we did the wedding in and everybody just being involved. But for our traditional, I think it was just that party was just like the best party. So I just think, yeah, that was like just one of the best parties. And then our wedding, again, was still that whole year, 2012, I think was just like such a run of emotions, getting married, having a Kai, him being in hospital. It was just the highs and lows.
And then moving into this house.
And then moving in here. And it does it. So as much as while we were going through it, it was kind of a bit traumatizing at times, but there was so much happiness as well. So definitely 2012, the whole of 2012 is my favorite year ever.
And then one of the things that always sticks out about that period was, again, and I've alluded to it before, but again, her focus and her determination. So when he was born and he was 32 weeks. Yeah. He was born at 32 weeks. And Nana was just had this thing of like where she was, I'm going to breastfeed this child. And she just turned, this is what I'm saying. Like when she decides she's going to do something, it's quite impossible to get in her way. She was like, I'm going to breastfeed this child. And then she just turned into a breastfeeding machine, right? And there was a fridge in the neonatal unit where you would go and you would store your breast milk, and she took up like 2 or 3 shelves in that fridge.
So much breast milk in there.
Because she was just like, and so just seeing how, and you know, I guess that's mums with their children, but just watching her being like, this is how hard she's going for her child. Like, this child is going to have all the breast milk that he needs. and yeah, so yeah.
Russell, what's Nana's worst habit?
Worst habit is if she takes out her hair in the bathroom, so just leave it there. Just leave it. Just leave it. And then so we walk into the bathroom and it's like, oh, Nana's taken out her hair. Clearly, we can see.
Okay. And Nan?
I don't even know. What is your worst habit? When Russell cooks, everything is like just left.
Oh my God, yes.
And it's just annoying. Like, even, you know, the onion, it's just everything. You know, he's been in the kitchen and cooked, and sometimes it feels like it's a statement, like, I cooked.
Why does he do that? I don't understand.
I don't know. It's so annoying.
I agree, Nan, definitely. What is the first thing, Nana, the very, very first thing that you noticed about Russell?
Like, so this is like from Luton.
The moment you saw him was the first thing that stood out about this guy.
Because his hair.
Okay.
Yeah, that was probably like the thing that stood out. He had like your like kind of like this, and it was like curly. So it wasn't as like wet looky as I would generally go for, because at that stage I absolutely loved a genuine type of looking brother. But it was like he had hair, so that's what I noticed.
Okay. And Russell?
Her shoulders.
You know what? I agree with you.
Why you been looking at my woman's shoulders?
No. Not like that.
How random is that? Shoulders.
Okay, so when
the stuff, Nan.
Yeah. So when I think of Nana, and I think of like the first time seeing Nana, and it may not have been the first time I saw her, but this is the one that sits in my mind, is in the Beach in Luton, which is a nightclub that used to exist in Luton. And she was there and she was wearing a jumper similar to this, but it was red and both the shoulders were exposed. And I just remember, like, I always have that image of her in my mind. So yeah, her shoulders.
If I was to ask you, Nana, Russell's happiest moment, what would you say it was?
In like the last 21 years.
Just his happiest moment. What's Russell's happiest moment?
I think I would say it was when Okai came home from the hospital.
Okay. And Russell for Nana?
So I was going to say the same thing. So I'm not going to say that. We're going to take that as a given. But I think, so even recently, she hit like a milestone in her business. And again, kind of throwing back to all the stuff that I was saying about her being focused and whatnot have you. So I think that was like a really happy moment and a recent one.
And final question, could you complete this sentence? You're my, starting with Russell. So this is in reference to Nana.
You're my queen too.
I knew he was going to do that. Oh, this guy.
You're my reason.
That's nice.
That was smooth.
That was. You're my chosen partner throughout life. Like I absolutely am like, I can't see anybody riding this lifetime with. Like it's you. It's you and the kids. So
Good answer.
I'll take that.
Well, beautiful speaking to you both. That was your
Thank
thank you.
Thank you.
This was good. We haven't been interviewed before.
No.
Well, this was nice.
No, we have.
Oh, we have.
One time for a magazine.
Yeah.
But this is the first audio interview.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And with you as well.
Yeah. It was nice having you. Like I said at the beginning, you've been there from the beginning. So it was also like nice having you.
What's interesting is like there's obviously loads that I know about you, but just kind of like hearing things from your perspective, and it's mad because I always try and focus on the positive stuff. Like I've never really probed you guys about when Nia Kai was born. Do you mean? Because it was such a sensitive subject. So like when you guys talk about that time in your life, my ears are like I just didn't want you guys to be any more stressed than you already were.
All right, listen, Mel, thank you very much for
good.
today. I've actually really enjoyed this. Guys, as I said at the beginning, the podcast is returning. The first episode will be on the 21st of March, which I believe is a Sunday. And we're going to be joined by 2 other couples, and we're going to be discussing how we fared through the pandemic, homeschooling, and how our relationships have held up after that. So please subscribe if you have not already subscribed, or catch us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and keep supporting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.